My name is Mike Casey, and currently I am a retired teacher. I taught elementary gifted children. What made me seek attention was the fact that Friday morning when I woke up, I noticed it wasn't really a pain, but it was a sensation in my chest. Pressure, the classic pressure. No jaw involvement, no arm involvement, but definitely there was something going on there. It lasted about 15 or 20 minutes. I immediately called a neighbor to say, hey, I think I need some help. I think I have to get to the hospital. So she came over right away, took me to the hospital, went to the emergency room in the local hospital, and they said, yeah, sure enough, you had a heart attack. And from there, they took me right into Parkridge. So the catheterization indicated I had a major blockage. So they scheduled me for a bypass surgery in a couple days later. The staff here and how I was dealt with was nothing short of miraculous, truly. I could not believe the care with which they treated me. It wasn't a job for them. You could tell it wasn't a job because they interacted with me. They cared about what happened to me. They were attentive. They were supportive. They pulled me through. The most impactful moment for me during the hospital stay was when on 3 separate occasions, 3 different staff members came into my room and said to me, may we pray with you? And I said, absolutely. I teared up. And that just indicated the kind of care that they had for their patients, or me in particular. And I'll never forget that. I would certainly say if you choose Parkridge, you will never be sorry that you did. I think the experience will be beneficial for you. You could not be in better hands.